today I have Emma.
Hey guys.
And we're gonna have a good conversation. But first, Emma, I just want you to tell me who you are, where you going, where you been. Just let the people know who you are.
Hey y'all. My name is Emma. Who am I? I am. Who am I? I'm a servant. I can say I'm a servant. I really just live this life of serving people and going where the Lord tells me. Funny that you said, where am I going? I am going on a mission trip in like 4 days. I'm leaving everything that I know to just pretty much go after what God has told me to go to. So I'm going to Ghana, West Africa. I'll be serving with a nonprofit organization, working with a few orphanages. So I'm super excited about that. But outside of that, I really just, I work in marketing communications. I love my family. I love the people I get to do life with. And I just want to serve them. And yeah, I think that's me.
That is, I can verify all of that, especially the servant part. You know, you were gone on Monday.
Yeah.
And it seemed like everything was just off with you not there helping.
Oh my goodness. That's crazy.
Was off. So yeah, she's a servant at heart, for real.
Yeah.
Okay, so me and Emma had talked about doing a podcast, and we want to, once she gets back, hopefully we can do it together. Serve women, and be able to minister to women. So I want to get into the thing we talked about when we were having this conversation about singleness and being single, and kind of what that looks like. I forget. Do you remember the Bible verse?
It was I think it was 2 Corinthians, either 1:7 or 5:7. One of those. One of the two.
Find it and read it, cause
Yeah.
2 Corinthians. I should have brought my Bible down here.
Oh, it's far away now. It's over there. My Bible's over there, but it's okay.
You want to grab it?
Yeah, I can. It's either 5:7 or 1:7. One of the two. Which one are you looking at? So I can look up the other.
2 Corinthians.
It's like, I remember when I used to go to Sunday school and they'd be like, who can find a scripture first? He's a call a sword drill. These are cool. A sword? What? This is my sword, okay?
Yes, my weapon.
Is it 5:7?
I don't think it is.
No.
That's what we want by faith.
For what we faith not say. So maybe 1:7. No.
It's me on your phone.
It's not it.
I'm about to look it up.
Or is it 1 Corinthians? Ciao.
It's me. Should have had it ready. Sorry, you guys. You should look forward to while we're looking. See who can find it first.
Oh, 5:7. No. Dang. Is it 1:7, child? It's one of the Corinthians, okay? You know what? It might be in one of my screenshots. No. There's neither of those scriptures.
I am.
Scripture was. Oh, 1 Corinthians 7 words. See, I was on to something.
You knew where it was.
It was somewhere in the Bible. Read your whole Bible. You find it. Oh, 7:1. No.
I think you gotta keep going.
You have to keep on going.
$25. 1 Corinthians 7:25.
No, I think it's 32.
32?
Hmm. And then try the NLT version.
That is the New King James Version. I was looking for words that was not there.
Wait, what's this?
Yeah, you have a highlighter right here.
Okay. Yeah. What scripture was that? Wait, what chapter is it? What verse is that?
That's 32.
Mm-hmm.
That's about fiance. What verse was it?
No, it's 32. So the MKJV says, "But I want you to be without care. He who is unmarried cares for the things of the Lord, how he may please the Lord. But he who is married cares about the things of the world, how he may please his wife." So pretty much it was just saying how, like,
It's the baby.
okay, I was like, who that? Which of the babies is that? It's on my bad. So
Continue.
So yeah, I think that's pretty much what it's saying. Like, when you're not married, you should be concerned about the things of the Lord. Like, that should be your main thing. But when you're married, then you're concerned about your spouse.
So one of the things that I did want to talk about as, like, well, you, after reading that verse, how does that make you, how does your thought process on being single, has it changed, or has the way you started to live changed, or how do you walk out that verse?
Yeah, I think that once I read that verse, for one, it made me stop thinking like marriage was my ultimate goal in my singleness. Like, I shouldn't be striving or working to be like someone's wife. Yeah. But my main business is the Lord's business. So whether that means me serving in the church, like praying for people, whether it means like making space to serve in the house of the Lord and for God, like, that's my main thing. So if it means pack your bags and go on a mission trip, ciao, I guess. You know, like, it's just kind of like, okay, Lord, like, my business is the Lord's business.
Yeah.
So that's the main thing that I'm focused on. It's not really about like the things that I would typically think about, or like the world is thinking about, I would say. So like, for me, it definitely shifted my focus from I just need, like, my main business is like other things, whether it's not even marriage, like, finding the perfect job, or like anything else. It's just like, now my business is the Lord's business, and I'm about my Father's business. So yeah,
that's period.
Yeah.
So I remember when you told me, I felt very convicted, because I feel like us women in our 20s, and somebody said this in the Bible study yesterday, and I was like, it's very true. Like, the Big C church, for people after they get saved, the next thing they think about is getting married. Like, the second step after getting saved is getting married. And it's like, we idolize marriage.
Yeah, it definitely does become an idol, for sure.
And so it's like, how do you personally keep yourself from idolizing marriage? Like, how do you balance knowing that marriage is a desire that God gives you, and also, like, you don't idolize it?
I think it's like constantly checking my heart, constantly checking my motives. Like, when I'm out, is it like, ooh, I'm trying to look good to get my man? Or is it like, my man? Or is it, girl, you have to go do what you need to do, you know? Like, I think it's just constantly checking my heart, my thoughts, my mind. But also coming to a place of understanding, like, God, like, this is the main thing that matters. If that makes sense, like, in the sense that it's not the main thing that I'm always thinking about. It used to be, though. I think I can say, like, if I was being honest, like, it used to be like, okay, Lord, like, I'm doing everything right, like, next thing, send me my man, because I think that's what the Big C church, like, encourages. And it's not I don't think, let me not say that, forget that part. Okay, I think that they encourage it for a good reason.
Yeah.
However, I think that maybe it's not always communicated right, or maybe people take it differently. Maybe the way people accept it is different, but what's the way that I don't idolize marriage is constantly checking my heart and constantly making sure, like, Lord, this is not the main reason why I'm serving you. Like, I'm not praying to you every day for my husband to come.
Yeah.
I'm loving you because of who you are. I'm loving you because you're God, because of, you know, just everything that you are. It's not because of what you can do for me.
Yeah.
So whether my husband or anything else, I think I'm in a place of like loving Jesus for who he is and not for anything else.
Amen to that. It took me, I think, till like maybe like last week or the week before last.
Like yesterday we were having a conversation. I was like, okay, God, right?
This for you.
I was like, maybe yesterday. I was like, okay, Jesus. So yeah, I know.
Yeah, I think it's just really difficult, and I don't think we talk about enough, like, I guess, like, practical ways to, like, because you gotta have a balance. Because sometimes you can get to a point where you're like, I don't want this.
Yeah.
Because you're upset because you don't have it.
Right.
But it's like, I know for me, like, there's been many times where I'm like, God, like, if you're not gonna give it to me, take the desire away from me. If you're not gonna give it to me, like, why do you even have me desiring something that I can't have?
Right.
And it makes you frustrated.
Right. And then I think if that's the case, then you start building resentment. And then when you do have the thing, then you're not able to value it as much. So I think that the desire that God puts in our heart is for a reason, but I think it's for us to go right back to him and be like, okay, Lord, well, I have this desire in my heart, but this is the way life is looking right now. So what are you trying to teach me in this moment? Or what fruit of the Spirit are you trying to grow in me? Is it self-control, or is it like me being gentle or patient, right?
Yeah.
So I think that it's good that you're able to come to that
Conclusion.
Yeah, to that point of like, all right, Lord, check me.
Yeah, I think for me, I think if I have those thoughts in those moments, I try to remind myself, seek first the kingdom of God, and everything will be added unto you. Yeah. And so it's just kind of like, and then reminding myself that, like, God withholds no good thing. Yeah. So if I needed it, absolutely, I would have it. Absolutely. But I don't have it, so I don't need it. And so while it is a desire that's gonna be fulfilled in time, I just have to remind myself, like, of the Word of God, like what the Word of God says. Right. And then, get your mind back on God, because when you focus on God, that's when everything else. Everything else will be added. Yeah. Like, in abundance, baby. Yeah. So I wanted to get that out of the way because we're always talking about marriage and stuff like that. So this is the question I want to ask you. Okay. Right? What, biblically, what virtues and what is a woman? Outside of marriage. outside of marriage and being a mother. Like, when you think about that, like, what you mean?
What is the virtue of a woman outside of marriage? I think that there's a lot of virtue of a woman, whether in so many different spaces. Like, oh, child, this is a loaded question. Ooh, that's the main topic. I wanted to get the marriage and like, I want to get that out. Like, okay, we get it. She's a helpmate. Proverbs 31. Okay, we get it. Homemade. Okay, great.
And the reason why I asked is because this is the conversation that we were having, and the conversation we were getting to. Because it's like, if you're focused, if you're doing that Bible verse and you're making God's business your business, and you're focused on God, and you're not really focusing on becoming a wife, how, like, what are you doing to become like a woman of God outside becoming a wife and a helpmate?
Right. There's so many things that you're doing at that rate. Like, you are, serving. You are making yourself available to hear what God has to say. You're in the presence of God. You're going forth to make disciples. So, like, you're working towards so many different things, whether it's like a vision that God has given you, or a dream, or simply like walking in obedience. So I think that there's so many different things that adds virtue to a woman. Like you can bring healing to people. You can break generational curses simply by walking out in obedience. You can be living a life of surrender. And also I think it's being aware that as people and as Christians, like other people's lives are attached to ours. So if you're walking in obedience of what God has called you to, or you're about God's business, that you're bringing other people along with you as well. So, I mean, in terms of virtue, there's so much. Like, you making the world a better place, okay? Like, there's just so much that can be done or like adding to the virtue of a woman outside of just being a wife. I mean, list of careers, and I mean, of course, your career isn't your identity, but I think there's a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you think?
I think.
Or like, what's your response to that?
I was actually looking up like Bible verses and stuff this morning because I asked my friend the same question, like, what is a woman? Like, what is a godly woman outside of being a wife and a helpmate and a mother? And she was like,
right, like a woman? Like,
what do you mean? And it's like, I figured like, cause I'm still trying to, I looked it up this morning, but I'm still trying to grasp the understanding. Cause I think if we can teach that and we can learn that, then we'll learn how to identify ourselves in Christ without just identify ourselves as like wife, because we're not there yet. We're single. So how do I identify myself and make a goal if I don't know what that is? Right. Because when you think of godly woman, you think of helpmate. You think of a good wife. You think of all those things. Even in your singleness, you think of, oh, I'm preparing to be that. So it's like, what kind of goals can we create in our singleness?
Yeah. That's good.
To become a good woman.
That's really good. Because, I mean, some of us are called to marriage, but not all of us are. Child, you could be a nun for real. You still got some virtue to you, baby. So,
I think you hit on some of them, because I looked up a list, and this is just a few of the things on the list. So it's like skillful, tender, refined, delicate, beautiful in appearance, a willing worker, generous, teacher of kindness, woman who fears the Lord, great in faithfulness. I think one that I like to say is multiplication, in wisdom.
Okay, because I'm about to say, you could, what kind of multiplication?
Not that, that's what they said. That's what they said. Multiplication. I'm not talking about.
At that case, we go right back to
I'm not talking about kids, okay? I'm not talking about babies. I'm not talking about babies. I'm talking about like our ability to take something plain and make it beautiful.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, I think women just have that ability to add an extra touch to everything we put our hands on. Yeah. And that's and multiply that.
Yeah.
And I think outside of marriage, because when you think of like someone you want to be, like you want to be able to take. Usually, when you think, you like, I want to be able to take something my husband is trying to build and help him multiply it.
Right.
But it's like, what does that look what does that look like in your singleness?
Right.
What does multiplication look like in your singleness?
Right.
Maybe it looks like serving and then helping the ministry that you're in multiply.
Yeah.
Or helping your friends multiply grace, or helping your friends multiply faith, or like, and I feel like we could use those virtues outside of that if we know the goal. But as single women, it's just kind of like, we don't know. Like, I never thought of that being a goal. I never thought of, I could be a great woman outside of
marriage.
Yeah.
And not to say that marriage is a bad thing, but it's just because, like, if you make marriage your entire identity, it will be very hard for you to even want to seek out what God has for you. Yes. I feel like, because you're just kind of like, and also, not saying that's going to be your case, but not all marriages work out the way you anticipate. So now when something happens to that, who are you?
Yeah.
And you find that a lot of people like become so lost, and they no longer know who they are because they've wrapped up their entire identity in that one thing. So whether it's marriage, whether it's being a mother, or even simply being a career, like some people identify themselves simply as off of one thing that God hasn't just placed on you. You're more than just a job or a mother or a wife. You are called to the nations. I mean, not all of us are called to the nations, but you're called to so many different things. So like
as a single woman.
Yes.
Like as a single woman, you're called to do different type of ministries. You're called to carry a certain type of grace. Like I never, like it wasn't until like today or a little bit of yesterday that I'm like, oh, like I can carry a certain type of grace that can help other young women learn how to carry that grace.
Absolutely.
And so it's like maybe our goal is to learn how to be graceful, but also learn how to be tender, learn how to be caring, learn how to relay wisdom that we do have to one another. Yeah. Like as a single woman, and when you're doing those things, then you're walking in what God has called you to.
Yeah, absolutely.
Another question. What attributes do you think we have? I guess it's same kind of, but three attributes that you think that we as women specifically have that mirror God's attributes.
Comforter. I mean, men are comforter, but I think comforter. I think specifically like comforter. There are many different attributes. Like to bring healing to someone. So not like just physical healing, but like heart, emotional healing, and patience. I think patience women have I mean, but most women carry patience.
Well, I think that's the reason why I want to talk about it is because it's like if you're not really carrying those things, and it's like, okay, as a woman, a goal of yours should be able to carry patience. Yeah. Especially like if we're like talking to like young women. Yeah. Like, okay, your goal is to be able to carry patience. Right. As a woman of God. Right. Hello, Riley. Riley said, she said, I'm in it too. I want to talk about Jesus too.
Kingdom crazy.
It's like, so like that's really what I wanted to talk about, like that, because it's kind of like now that I know that I need to set different goals. Like now I'm like, because one of my things, like I said, is wisdom. So it's like, okay, as a woman, I need to know how to carry and relay wisdom in a way that people can understand it. Like that should be if that's you're telling a young woman, hey, like, what should I be? You should be able to carry wisdom and relay it. You need to learn how to do that. You need to learn how to discern and things of that nature. And so I think that's very important because it's not something that we're taught.
No, for sure. Yeah, that's very true. No, it's actually very true. I think that if someone is teaching you something, it's like, oh, because you're gonna be a wife. Yeah. It's not because you're a person in society. It's not because you could go out to someone and simply like your word of wisdom can save their life. You know. So I think that is very important. And like you said, other attributes of God, whether it's being a comforter, or being someone that's soft or feminine, whatever. Like I think that those are all really important.
Yeah, things to know.
Yeah, for sure.
We should be able to answer that question. What is a woman?
Without
being like,
I don't know.
That's a good question.
What you think? Because,
So another thing I wanted to talk to you about is crazy. God, this morning, God woke me. I feel like God woke me up out of my sleep to tell me I was beautiful.
Wow.
Right. And I want to specifically talk about that in African American women specifically. And he literally, I was praying. I didn't want to get out of bed. Didn't want to get out of bed. Girl, I was fighting. And he just began to like speak like, "You're beautiful. You're da 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 da." And I think that's an attribute that we hold as women. Like God makes things beautiful, and one of the things that He makes is beautiful. And first, before I say anything, I just want to ask you, like, personally, when it comes to like beauty in our society, how do you feel about that now, and like versus how you used to feel, and like, is that something you're working on, or is that like do you have that confidence in you now?
That's a great question. I think that when I was younger, it was something that was like a pain point, I guess, because people, and it's like people that look like me were the ones that usually like said, "Oh, girl, you're not cute."
Yeah.
So, and I was always like deemed as like the dark, chubby kid.
Yeah.
So like that girl, they used to be tearing me up. I was like, oh my God. Oh, Jesus. But you know what though? I think I was really gifted with my parents to be like, Emma, you're beautiful.
Yeah.
Like your skin is like, I don't know, I used to compare it to something like really beautiful, right? So then I really started to believe I was beautiful. And like my mom would be like, look at me, like I gave birth to you and I'm beautiful. Like God's made me beautiful, so you're beautiful. And I think like as I've gotten older, like just really understanding like the love of God and just the way He sees me makes me even more set in that. Like, so yes, I could be darker than some people, but that doesn't mean that takes any away from my beauty, I think. And I think like what also helps is that because I understand my value and my worth, like I'm very quick to tell someone else that they're beautiful, like because I see my own beauty and I see how God makes everything beautiful in His time, and like in general, like I'm able to be like, wow, you're beautiful, like you're super gorgeous. So yeah, it's been a journey for sure, but thankfully that journey has been like on an uphill because I've had like positive influences and I've had like people speak into my life.
Okay, I love that for you.
Yeah, because it hasn't been the case, but I know that's not the case for everyone. I know that that's not the case for everyone for sure.
Yeah.
And I think it hasn't always been easy though. Like there are definitely times where I'm like, bro, child. And you know, I think social media doesn't help if we're being honest. Cause I'm like, dang, so Lord, you ain't give me a little bit more booty.
Don't tell your truth.
I'm gonna tell the truth, okay? Because these days, you know, I'm like, Lord, you ain't give me just a little bit more booty. But you know what? I was like, you know, Lord, if you gave me a little bit more booty, I would have been acting up for it.
Come on now. It's the truth.
It's the truth. But that don't mean I ain't beautiful.
That is facts. That is facts.
No. All right.
No, it's facts. I know something that something that I noticed that I still struggle with. Being an African American woman and realizing that I'm not preferred and knowing that, because I think for me, growing up in the South, like you hear it a lot, like black, like I remember in my childhood I heard like black women are bottom of the barrel and black women are the bottom of the list and and so it's like I think that feeling of knowing I'm not necessarily preferred is still something like an insecurity that I deal with. And God told me this morning, it was so beautiful. God said it. He was like, he showed me a picture of a box of crayons. He was like, everybody's favorite color is always what?
Like pink?
Pink. Not women, but like men. Or people in general. What's people's normal like red and what?
Yellow?
Girl, you don't know people's favorite colors? Like the majority of people say red and blue.
It's giving Family Feud. Out of 100 Americans, what is this?
The top.
I don't know.
Yellow? Whose favorite color? I don't know a lot of people's favorite color is yellow. I do know a lot of people's favorite color is red and blue. Like when you ask, I think when you typically ask somebody,
I usually hear pink and blue. But,
pink and blue?
But we can go
pink and blue.
Okay.
Let's just go with that. Typically tell pink and blue. It's like, yellow? We got it.
Okay.
Like, he was like, okay, so like when it comes to a crayon box, people usually pick like typical colors. We'll go pink, blue, and red. Okay, and but it's like that's everybody's favorite color.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and that's the color that's like most used. And
Yeah,
that's the
yeah.
color but it's like when you think of the color gold,
Mm-hmm.
when you think of the color like marigold, when you think of the color like violet, when you think of the royal blue and things of that nature. Those colors aren't picked, but those are like really special, like
rich colors.
Rich and bold colors.
Yeah.
And they're very like gold is very valuable.
Yeah.
And so he was like, just because you're not everybody's favorite doesn't mean you're not valued.
Hello?
And you might be valuable because you're not everybody's favorite.
That's so true.
And it literally like
wow, that's so beautiful.
blew my mind.
That's
Because
so
I
beautiful.
might not be everybody's pink
Mm-hmm.
and blue.
Yeah.
I might be gold. And
Yeah.
somebody might really, really like gold. And
Yeah.
it was like everybody's favorite color isn't purple. But people who like purple
They love
love
it.
purple.
Love it.
And so it's like you might not be the blue.
Yeah.
You might be the purple. And
Yeah.
when somebody loves purple,
They're gonna love it
they're
to
gonna love
the
it a lot.
fullest. Yeah.
And so it's like
I love that.
I feel like when as a woman, you want to feel beautiful,
Yeah.
and you have the knowledge that you're made in God's image.
Yeah.
And you have the knowledge that, that you are beautiful, but having that in your heart is something totally different.
Completely different.
And
Because sometimes people, if you don't have it in your heart, everyone in the entire world could tell you you're beautiful.
yes.
They could tell you, even like you can finally get that dream man that tells you you're beautiful and you still won't believe it because you, for one, don't have it in your heart. You don't know in your heart. So it's really important for that shift to happen.
For sure. And I feel like, I think that's, after today, I'm like, I know that's something that I'm going to work on in the new year. Just calling myself beautiful and, just kind of repeating that to myself and reminding myself that, like, if God finds me beautiful, then I'm beautiful. And then sometimes that statement is like, okay, yeah, God finds me beautiful.
It's like,
He
no,
created me.
you need to find
It's like my
somebody.
daddy.
Yeah.
My daddy finds myself beautiful too.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like, it kind of feels like that when like, people say like you're made in God's image.
Yeah. It's like, no, I never find myself. I mean, and I would say like even like looking at yourself and seeing the different parts of yourself that you love. Like, wow, I got a really nice forehead.
I never heard nobody say that. But yes, you got a really nice forehead. I love it. You caught me on guard. Yes, okay. Yeah. We're getting sleepy.
No, I'm serious.
I know you're serious.
I'm very serious. Wow, got a nice eyebrow. Like, just gotta pick up the things that you love and don't
worry about the rest.
Yeah, it overshadows because you. I think once you start to do that and you like with anything, once you start to look at the bigger picture and like the things you're more grateful for, it kind of overshadows the parts that you're just like, I'm not a big fan of it, you know, like, cause you also recognize your beauty isn't always external. Like, yes, there is an external part to it, but then you also recognize, no, like, I have a beautiful heart and like, I'm an amazing person and God has made me so, like, yes, God, but then also I genuinely just love to be a great person. So, yeah.
Yeah. I also wanted to add to that is like something I just thought about is like I think sometimes God puts not God, the enemy puts a veil over our eyes to make us see ourselves in a way that like body dysphoria is real.
No, absolutely.
To make us see ourselves in a way
that is not real.
That's not real.
That's so good.
So like you probably aren't ugly, but the enemy has put a veil over your eyes and distorted the way you see yourself.
That's so good.
And it's like you have to pray sometimes against that. Like pray against the way you see yourself and pray that you see yourself the way God sees you.
Yes, that's so good. Like, Lord, remove the scales from my eyes so I can see myself the way you see me. That's your prayer right there. Write it down.
Right there. Write it down. Because like you said, like social media changes the game.
Yeah.
You're looking at people on social media and then all those visuals and pictures are in your eyes and in your brain and it's just kind of like,
this is not true.
Yeah.
This is not who this is not who I am, or this is not what I look like.
Yeah.
But you need God's perspective.
Yeah, you have to, for real, pray for God's perspective.
Mm-hmm.
And to reveal and open your eyes for sure.
Yeah.
I think that's all our questions. I didn't really go through the questions, but that's really the book.
You sure?
I wanted to talk.
You can look at it real quick.
I wanted to. Let's see if we had another good one over here. Oh, this is a good one. What is something that you have been convicted about lately, and how has it been going?
Ooh, you in my business. What is something God has been convicting about? Worrying.
Yeah.
He's like, girl, you say you trust me, but how are you trusting me and worrying me at the same time? So, he's really been convicting about being still and knowing that he's God.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was a little, I was like, okay, God. So, it took me, I think like the last 2 weeks, I kind of been studying, like just being still and understanding that being still is not always just being like quiet or like, it's also like surrender. And it's also like, okay, God, when I say I trust you, I'm going to let you be able to do your work and not put my hands all up in it. You know?
Facts.
So I think that's what God has convicted me about. How's it going so far? It's still going, child. We still going, shoot, but it's going. I think it's better than before.
Yeah.
And it's a constant thing. I think it's a daily cross that I'm like, all right, Lord, this is the situation, and I'm having a hard time trusting, or I feel that worry is coming, or I feel myself getting overwhelmed. So I'm gonna lay it at your feet, and I'm gonna give it to you. And so help me to not worry. Help me to trust you. Help me. Like just it's a daily submission, daily surrender. Yeah.
I think worry is a big one.
Mhm.
Yeah, something that you have to learn. It's like a process of like trusting.
Mhm.
And you sometimes gotta be like, sometimes you think you trust God and gotta be like, okay, but if you trusted me, you would have your hand all
right. Or he gives you another test to see how you perform. He says, oh, you trust me? All right, let's see how you do. Like, let me actually give you a situation to test out your trust.
That's facts.
Yeah.
That's facts. Let's see. How has living for God and Him alone elevated your life?
Elevate. How has it elevated my life? It's elevated my life in staying in this place of like just knowing that I'm not doing it by myself, and I also don't have to do it in my own strength. And I think that's quite an elevation, because for a while I felt alone due to just life circumstances, like my parents getting a divorce, or like my dad passing away. Like I'm just like, bro, God, I feel super alone, or feel very lonely in this season. So really, really committing and surrendering my life has helped or elevated my life in the sense of I don't feel alone. I know that, for one, Lord God will never leave me nor forsake me. And I think that's something I hold so near and dear to me, to know that like God will never leave. Like, no matter, like, he would never leave. And I'm not trying to, it's not hyper grace. Like, it's just that in the sense that with whatever I walk through, he's right there.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's another hard concept to like, to like grasp.
Yeah.
It took me forever.
Yeah. I think it's a hard one to, like, it's not easy, but I think that once you do grasp it, it definitely changes your life. And it's funny that I think I grasped that in one of my darkest moments of life, where I was just like, bro, God, I actually don't think I'm gonna make it. I actually don't know how I'm gonna make it. But being that I was able to walk through it and like be on the other end, like, I know that.
Elaborate, what happened?
Well, what happened for me to know that God would never leave me or forsake me? I think that was the moment when my dad died.
Yeah. So
my dad died, and then 4 months later, my mom got diagnosed with cancer. And then so walking through this health journey of surgeries, doctor appointments, chemo, her getting sick, then finding another mass, and it's like, oh God, I'm about to lose both of my parents. Like, well, one is already gone, and the last one that I have left is about to, be gone as well.
Yeah.
And sorry, I didn't mention earlier, but a year before my stepdad died, so it was like really like my only parent left. I was like, ooh, it's looking a little tricky. But through those moments, somehow, like, I just didn't feel alone. And also, I feel like I really let God be the center of my heart, right? Like, I was just like, whatever happens, Lord, I'm gonna trust you, okay? Like, I'm gonna trust you. And I think once I got to that point, then he really took over.
Yeah, it's like you got some type of peace.
Yeah, because I think that's when you recognize what the idols of your heart are.
Ooh.
When what you pray and hope for will never happens. Then you're like, ooh, actually, let's actually have a conversation.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It kind of made you more dependent on him.
Yeah, because I had no other choice.
Yeah.
Because if I tried to depend on anything else, I don't think I would have made it. So.
Yeah, I feel that dealing with death is really hard. If you could tell yourself, your younger self, one thing, what would it
be? I love my younger self. She's such a cutie. I think I would have told her that, to keep on smiling, to keep on living in this joy, and to not blame herself for the bad things that happen. Okay. What would you tell little TT?
That's a good question. I don't even think I would tell my younger self. I would just give my younger self a hug. Just so like special. Just like hold.
Yeah, come here, bro.
And I guess I would tell myself that, like, everything isn't your fault.
Wow. Yeah. I think that's a really big area for people to break through.
Yeah.
That the things that happen to you, good or bad, sometimes aren't your fault.
Yeah. And with your family too. Like, I guess if I could have learned how to be less egocentric, is that the word?
Egocentric, yeah.
I guess if I could have learned that earlier.
Like, it's not about you.
Yeah.
Oh.
And not like it's not about you, but like more like the things you do don't affect people the way you think it does.
That's good.
And so I would have been less of a people pleaser.
That's good. You better preach.
For sure.
Yeah.
Because, that was just hard.
I love that. That's really good.
Yeah. would definitely do that. That got me thinking. I'll probably tell myself a lot of things, but that's the one thing.
That's the one thing, yeah.
That's the one thing I would tell myself.
I love that.
Is there anything you want to tell the people before we leave? Anything to encourage the people? Anything you feel led to say?
To tell the people, I think it would be like you're more than whatever bad that's happening to you, and that also like your identity isn't in what you have, what you do, or who you're with. It's really being a child of God.
Yeah.
And finding a relationship with Christ will change your life. So wherever you are, you could take a moment to go deeper. But also just knowing that you're valuable in whatever state that you're in. You're so valuable, and there's so much that's attached to your life. So yeah, I love you. Don't give up. So yeah.
Thank you guys for joining me and Pastor Emma.
Not Pastor Emma. Who's that? Please. I'm about to go.
on this wonderful night.
Yeah.
It's crazy, but it's kingdom. We'll see you guys later.
The world, yeah, we paving it. Wait for the shit, only life, yeah.